Hello everyone, welcome to Management Academy. In this video, we are looking at qualitative research, and there are four specific questions which we are answering. First, we will discuss what is qualitative research. Second, we will discuss when a researcher should use qualitative research. Third, we will also look at differences between qualitative and quantitative research. And finally, we will go through different types of qualitative research techniques. Before we go into details of the video, if you haven't subscribed to Management Academy, do consider subscribing. Defining qualitative research is very difficult and is highly debated. One of the meanings of qualitative research which we would like to present is that qualitative research produces findings not arrived at by statistical procedures or other means of quantification. Qualitative research can also be seen as an umbrella term covering a wide array of interpretive techniques. Whenever a marketer or researcher is addressing a new research problem, it's appropriate that before proceeding into quantitative research, qualitative research is undertaken. Now, let's discuss the difference between qualitative research and quantitative research. A quantitative research can be seen as a strategy that emphasizes quantification in the collection and analysis of data. Qualitative research is seen as a very unstructured process, and quantitative research is a more structured process. So what it means is whenever a respondent is being asked a question, the questions are very unstructured during data collection in qualitative research, whereas the questions are very structured, like questions on a Likert scale, which are asked to respondents during quantitative research in a survey method. The analysis of data in qualitative research is non-statistical, whereas in quantitative research it's statistical. Qualitative research, in other words, is exploratory, and quantitative research is conclusive in nature. Now, let's discuss when a researcher can use qualitative research. Although, as discussed, qualitative research can provide initial understanding about a research problem, let's go further and discuss how or when a researcher can use qualitative research. Whenever a research is aiming at uncovering deeper insights about consumers' feelings, opinions, and experiences, a qualitative research can be used. Whenever researchers are trying to understand an underlying cause of an outcome, qualitative research can be of much use. As data analysis and interpretation is more complex in qualitative research, and qualitative research is a much older in terms of history, qualitative research does not get much importance from policymakers in organizations. Sometimes people are unwilling to give a truthful opinion about their feelings. Sometimes the questions asked in a survey are not enough to uncover the real reasons why consumers bought a product. For example, an individual might have bought an expensive car to reduce a feeling of inferiority. However, when asked about this question, the individual might say that the car was on offer and the previous car was getting old. In such cases, the desired information can be best obtained through qualitative research. Now, let's look at the different types of qualitative research procedures. Qualitative research techniques can be divided into two broad types based on whether the true purpose of the research is known to the respondent or whether the true purpose of the research is unknown to the respondent. So, in one situation, the respondent knows why the research is being conducted or the true purpose of the research, and in one case, the respondent does not know the true purpose of the research. When the respondent knows the true purpose of the research, there are two main techniques used: focus groups and depth interviews. Focus group is like an interview conducted by a trained moderator in a non-structured and a natural manner with a small group of individuals. A few individuals are invited into an experimental setting where a very comfortable environment is made and the moderator asks a series of questions. The idea is to learn from listening to these respondents. There are different forms of focus groups like dual moderators or dueling moderators, where there are two moderators, and in one case the moderators take deliberately two different positions and instill arguments. The idea is in a group which is very homogeneous. People are comfortable to talk about a lot of things. A lot of detailed insights about consumer behaviors, attitudes, expressions can be understood by a focus group discussion. A very expensive process where the moderator needs to be very skilled to handle the focus group or moderate the focus group. In-depth interview is also very similar to focus group, where it is very unstructured and indirect, but it takes place one-on-one with an individual. Depth interviews can again further be classified into three types: laddering, hidden issue questioning, and symbolic analysis. In the laddering technique, the moderator or the interviewer tries to develop a mental map of the customer's view of a target product. Depending on the responses, the moderator asks or further probes into the issue, hence climbing the ladder. For example, why does an individual use an electric vehicle? If a question like this is asked, depending on the respondent's responses, further questions can be asked to further understand why or what are the deep-rooted attributes or characteristics or meanings why that individual went for an electric vehicle. In hidden issue questioning, the focus is not on discovering or understanding socially shared values, but rather very personal or deep-rooted general lifestyles which are very specific to personal concerns. In symbolic analysis, a respondent can be asked that what happens if you are not able to use a smartphone. What smartphone in actual means to that individual can be uncovered by such questions. Now, when the purpose of the research is unknown, the researchers tend to use projective techniques. Now, this is also an unstructured, indirect form of questioning that encourages the respondents to speak about their underlying motivations, beliefs, attitudes, and feelings regarding issues of concern. So, in these projective techniques, the respondents are presented with vague and ambiguous situations and are expected that the more the ambiguous and vague situations are, the respondents will be able to project their emotions, needs, and motives, attitudes in an unbiased way. There are four types of projective techniques which can be used. The first one is an association technique. In this, an individual, a respondent, is presented with a stimulus and the response is recorded. One of the examples of association technique is a word association. In the case of a retail store shopping behavior, some of the key words which can be presented to a respondent can be parking, assortment, quality, price, etc. And depending on the responses, an individual's understanding about the retail store shopping behavior can be understood. The underlying assumption here is these word associations allow the respondents to reveal their inner feelings about the topic of interest. The next one is a completion technique. The respondent here is asked to complete an incomplete stimulus. One of the examples of a completion technique is that an individual is given an incomplete statement, a sentence, and they are asked to use the first word or phrase that comes to mind to complete that sentence. For example, an incomplete statement can be, a specific company has spent millions of dollars in R&D. The next part of the sentence is supposed to be completed by the respondent. This gives the respondent an opportunity to express his or her feelings about that specific company by completing the sentence. The next method under projective techniques is construction techniques. Here, the respondent is required to construct a response in the form of a story, dialogue, or description. In this case, pictures or cartoons can be given to respondents to elicit a response. Looking at a series of pictures, a respondent can be told to make a story about a series of pictures. Finally, another form of projective method is expressive techniques. In expressive techniques, the respondent is asked to express not their own feelings or attitudes but those of others. One of the examples of expressive techniques is role playing. Individuals can be sensitive to a lot of issues and they might not be willing to freely and comfortably talk about certain issues. In such cases, expressive techniques can be used where questions can be asked to uncover such deep-rooted feelings. For example, an individual can be asked, "Are you afraid to go to a water park?" In most cases, an individual might not be willing to answer such a question. But if the same question is asked, "Why do you think a person can be afraid Or why do you think a third person is afraid of going to a water park? Then deep rooted inner feelings of that individuals can come out. So this was a short discussion on qualitative research techniques. If you like the video, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel, and thank you for watching.